Okay, so now we're gonna do the global illumination technique to improve the interior render. It's so dark in some areas. So I'm gonna get out of here and pretty much create what's called a point light, and it's gonna come up there. I'm gonna press W to move it. Just gonna make sure from the top view and from the front view, etc., that is placed close to where the light is supposed to come in, so we have that features. I'm gonna move it up, and in the top view, press F to go there, and I'm gonna put this slightly here, and in the front view, I'll put it slightly up, and here. And I'm going to go to perspective and make sure that I'm in perspective 1, which is the new camera that we have created. And I'm going to also go to view, bookmarks. Remember we saved this camera view, so these are like we can move and place it more inside, of course, where the light is coming from. Just to make sure, let me make sure that it's actually where we want it to be, which is within the window. Probably here is a better spot. Okay, again perspective 1 and bookmarks, camera view 1, and I think it's good now. There, we put it inside next to whatever the opening is, and the things that we have to change for this point light is basically, after selecting it, you can go to point light shape, and the main focus of this tutorial is to use this emit button. So we press there, and we have to change things here related to global illumination photons, which is kind of like the resolution of the emission of light. So for that, as you can see, we cannot change. We have to go to the render settings and indirect lighting, make sure that we have, whenever we step into the indirect lighting, we have global illumination checked. Takes a while. Let me see. There we go. As you can see, it's not checked. So we're going to check that. That's going to turn on all the global illumination options, and this doesn't change automatically until you kind of press it in and out and in again, and there you go, you have the global illumination. I normally put this to 100,000, enter, and normally for a room scale, the 8,000 intensity, it's okay, but we have to remember that we are dealing with a detail here, so it's a piston, it's very small, it's actually a small scale, so just make sure that I'm going to do actually a render test. First of all, the light that we have placed is not supposed to create light, it's just we want it as a global illumination source of light. So we actually want to place this to 0, because the main light that we want to continue on as the one that defines the light in the scene is the one, the spotlight coming from the window, of course. So this is just this, we have to change the intensity to 0. Okay, so I'm going to render this. You'll see what is happening when we have this number so big. So if I render, you'll see that it's going to be pretty much all white for this type of scene. There you go, it's white, so it's pretty much too high, but I think for a room size or room scale of in a house with objects inside, it should be fine. Should be fine, 8,000. But you can you're supposed to tweak that. So I'm going to escape to get out of the rendering and reduce that. I know that it's like 40, it's like very low because of the scale of the object, and I'm gonna pretty much render this as it is, and then we'll see that we should change a couple things here to make it better. Let's see how it looks, and I'll pause it there. So as you can see, the result is quite much better. I mean, we can see details, and we can see the depth of the interior. Probably there's issues of material definition. That's a matter of samples that you can increase in the light. Either in the light or the spotlight, you can go to samples in the shadows and define these much better, or you can also go to the material samples in the glossiness quality and change that so it's less grainy. But another thing we can do here to improve it, it's change some factors here. If it's a little burn in your scene because some areas are a little bit, you can always change the scale a little bit so it's less intense. You can change the intensity here, but you can also kind of change the scale of the glow illumination factor here. And accuracy, you should take this up much higher, like 1500. It's a good number, I will say. And the good thing about this global illumination is that you should also combine it at the final rendering with what is called final gathering. So if you press this guy and you render this with these settings, you're gonna see a very notable improvement in your rendering. So it's something we have to keep in mind. The global illumination could fit perfectly with final gathering, but once again, if we have these guys and we also have the material, we can go to the material here, material X, and change here the glossy samples a little bit higher so that glossiness is improved through that technique. And another thing we can do just to even improve it better, if we select the light, the main light, which in this case is a spotlight, we can always change a little bit resolution up and these shadow samples here. So basically all these sets should make your rendering improve notably. So yeah, I'm not going to render, but just keep in mind that mixing global illumination with final gathering is a strong potential for achieving a better render. Okay, I think I hope you like the tutorial, and I'm gonna stop it right there.